How's it going, everybody? It is Visual. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day, and welcome back to another Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle versus Turtles over here in the NU tier. So, just gonna lead off with my Druddigon with the Mold Breaker, has Stealth Rocks, Toxic, Earthquake, and Pursuit, as he leads off with Piloswine. And he is just going to fire off an Icicle Crash, do massive damage, but since Druddigon pretty much lives anything at least once, it will live that Icicle Crash, even though it is probably going to be maybe even max attack Piloswine, maybe Adamant, as he decides to get his Stealth Rocks up as I just go for a Toxic on his Piloswine, put that guy on a timer so that he won't be staying in the game longer. And now I can go into my Samurotts. Hopefully he will not to go for an Earthquake, as he does just fire off the Icicle Crash. He could probably knock me out with an Earthquake from that range my Druddigon was at, but I guess maybe he didn't think he would, because, I mean, I lived that first Icicle Crash and that's super effective, so he was like, man, Earthquake probably doesn't knock it out. So luckily I just go for a Megahorn right there. Thought he would switch out, but he doesn't, and I just take that Earthquake like a champ living on 16 HP, right? Am I right? Well, at least he puts me in Torrent range, and then I can Aqua Jet him, so that's totally fine. Losing all my HP on my Samurotts, where I will get knocked out by Stealth Rocks. So in comes the Whimsicotts. I might as well keep my Samurotts maybe as a sack or something, and then plus I'll go into my Delphox, which should be able to take anything Whimsicott wants to go for, and I am Choice Scarfed, and I can just outspeed the Whimsicott and go for a Flamethrower. As the Whimsicott goes for Z Growth, which is interesting. I did not expect the Z Growth to just pop out over here, raising its attack and special attack. I mean, I'm just gonna outspeed it and go for a Flamethrower, and yeah, down goes Whimsicotts. I guess he didn't expect me to be Choice Scarf Delphox, but they're like always Choice Scarfed, so I'm not too sure what he was planning right there. But hey, I followed his plan. So now in comes the Slowbro, as I'm just gonna switch out into my Druddigon, since Druddigon is pretty much a sack. I don't really need it anymore, and Slowbro, I can just fire off a Toxic on it if it is going to be like Calm Mind, maybe Slack Off, Scald, Slash Shock, something like that. I would guess maybe Waterium Z. I've seen some other different variants of Z moves on Slowbro, or even Colbert Berry as well. So he gets a Trick Room up, which is pretty cool, as I wouldn't expect Trick Room too much on Slowbro, but pretty nice. I've seen Slow Kings with Trick Room, but not Slowbro. Since Slow King usually like to have like 3 attacks Trick Room, Fire Blast, I think Ice Beam or Psychic, and then like Scald. So I just go for Pursuit, as he actually activates my Lum Berry, statusing me, but does not work since, you know, I get to hit him one more turn with that Pursuit, which is very nice. So now he knocks me out to Scald right there, and also I take up some nice chip damage with Toxic. Very, very nice. And then I go into my Klinklang over here, and now I'm going to go and sack my Samurott, as there is Trick Room still up. And now he gets a Slack Off, which is totally fine. I mean, I just wanted to waste Trick Room turns, to be honest. And he's still racking up Toxic, which is very nice. So now I go on my Klinklang over here, and now I think there's one more turn of Trick Room, which is fine. He actually switches out to Slowbro into his Hitmonlee, as I go for the Shift Gear, which is kind of really good for me, because I should be able to outspeed Hitmonlee and blow this thing back with a Gear Grind. And the Trick Room does end right there. I thought he would just fire off a Scald and just hope that I don't get burned, but I don't know. I guess he thought that would fire off an Electrium Z and he'd get knocked out right there, because usually Klinklang would have Electrium Z. So he Mach Punches me right there. I do live that, which is very, very nice. So he should have Scalded me from the beginning, because that would put me in range of a Mach Punch from Hitmonlee. So he probably thinks that I don't have the Electrium Z, or he thinks he can take a hit, maybe from a +1 Wild Charge. But since I am Electrium Z, Adamant Klinklang, this Gigavolt Havoc is gonna blow this Slowbro back into another dimension. And pretty nice, since even I think max defense Slowbro at that HP range will get destroyed by +1 Gigavolt Havoc. So now in comes the Minior, which should easily go down to some Gear Grinds. And yeah, as long as I don't miss, because Gear Grind has some, I mean, actually I just go for a Wild Charge. Makes sense, because I don't want to miss Gear Grind. If I probably went for Gear Grind right there, I would have probably missed, and he goes for Shell Smash, and I think he would still be slower, because he is not losing his shields yet, because when he loses his shields, he would be way faster, in my opinion, I think, if you're running max speed. But anyways, I go for a Gear Grind on the Shiny Guzzlord, and it doesn't knock it out, which is impressive. I mean, Guzzlord got that massive HP stat, so makes sense. He's probably running max HP, I don't know, but max special attack as well is most common, even choice specs. But it doesn't matter because I just go into Delphox and knock out the Guzzlord, and down it goes, and that's going to be a GG to Turtles. So, yeah. I guess looking at his team, Klinklang really just demolished him, honestly. He should have just scalded my Klinklang, put it in range of Mach Punch so he wouldn't have to lose a lot of his Pokemon to Klinklang. But I think I still had the game in the bag either way, with Sneasel and Medicham in the back, those hard hitters. And my Sneasel is actually a Life Orb, but that's D. It's a Low Kick, Ice Shard, and a Knockoff. So yeah, next game we have versus JohnX, and he has 2 ground types, which is kind of annoying for Klinklang. Gear Grind would do decent damage, though, if I can weaken it or get enough shift gears off to the Rhydon and the Alolan Dugtrio. But he does have Incineroar, so I might want to keep the Electrium Z for that, so we'll see, my plan is to just get the rocks up, to be honest, and go from there. So, Druddigon is usually a given lead with Mold Breaker. It pretty much lives anything that anything that it takes. Anything that's super effective, it can take it. So, he just leads off Braviary, goes for the Crush Claw, which I don't see too much on Braviary. That's a pretty cool set right there, as I think it lowers the defense by 50%. Like a 50% chance to lower defense, something like that, I don't know, I forget. But I get my rocks up, and then he knocks me out with the Brave Bird right there. That's Braviary for you. And it's actually Life Orb with Sheer Force. That makes sense with the Crush Claw. And now I go into my Sneasel, and hopefully he will switch out and go in fear of Icicle Crash, but he stays in and lives that knockoff, and then knocks me out with the Superpower right there. So that is pretty unfortunate for me. You know, I thought that knockoff would knock it out as well. I think it is a really massive rule in my favor to knock him out, but oh well. So, I mean, I wasn't really too sure what his percentage of HP was with the Braviary, but I could guesstimate. So, now I'm just going to Medicham and just Bullet Punch and knock the Braviary out. So, losing Sneasel is kind of big, but maybe I can still pull through. So, I go for a Thunder Punch onto Samurott, and it lives on like a slither of HP. What is with all his Pokemon living on a slither of HP? I didn't want to go for a Jump Kick because I don't want to miss. I mean, you know, it's smart to not miss moves, as I thought Thunder Punch would knock him out. I mean, I'm Jolly Medicham, I'm not Adamant. So, I outspeed Samurott 100% as he goes for his Swords Dance and has that Pinch Berry. But then I predict him to go for the Aqua Jet as I go into my Samurott. And then I just fire off a Megahorn since that's my strongest hitting move to hit a Samurott. Luckily, I don't miss that, as he actually packs, I guess, Aerial Ace, which I don't see too much. I mean, that's interesting. As I actually miscalced over here. When I calced it, I thought Aqua Jet would knock him out, because I think I was close to Torrent. I thought I was in Torrent. And also, I think I calced Life Orb in the calc, but I wasn't. So that's pretty unfortunate. But yeah, losing Samurott is pretty big as well, since I just lost so many Pokemon already. And now I am not looking too good versus the rest of this team, since, you know, Delphox is kind of walled by the Incineroar, and he still has Rhydon and Alolan Dugtrio, which is fast as hell, and he still has Altaria, and I don't have a switch into Alolan Dugtrio at all, looking at my team. So I decided to sack Klinklang over here, since Klinklang felt like the least expendable, or the most expendable actually. And now I bring in Delphox, and I hope that Delphox can somehow pull through with Flamethrowers, as he brings in the Incineroar. And Incineroar takes beautiful chip damage from that Stealth Rock. So maybe I can just whittle down Incineroar to the point where Delphox can pull through. Maybe with Flamethrowers or Psychics. Maybe if I get a burn on Rhydon, that's my plan over here. So I go into my Medicham just hoping to take a hit from Incineroar, maybe a knockoff, but I doubt it. But he actually goes for Rest, which I did not expect at all. And it turns out he's going to be Chesto Berry Incineroar, and I was like, what? And the hoo-ha, and the yeah-yeah. That's interesting. Don't see that too much, but that's cool. So I guess maybe he was expecting me to just like Flamethrower again, I don't know. But I bring in Medicham, I just go for the high Jump Kick as in comes Altaria. And I just get to Bullet Punch that and knock it out, since Altaria was pretty much a sack on his part. And then he can bring in his hard hitter, which is going to be the Alolan Dugtrio, and demolish the last 2 Pokemon. Medicham will try and Bullet Punch and do some chip, but it doesn't matter since the Alolan Dugtrio is Steel type and it can live it. And he actually turns out to not be Tangled here, which is interesting as well. I think it's Sand Force, Alolan Dugtrio's other ability, as it just knocks me out with Earthquake. And if he has Sucker Punch, then I think it never really knocks out Delphox from full. So luckily he never got Stealth Rocks up, as I do live that, and I go for the Flamethrower. And pretty much it's Delphox versus the world over here, as it's not looking too good when you have a Rhydon and an Incineroar, 2 Pokemon that literally can wall in the Delphox, unless I'm not Choice Scarf and I can go for like a Grass Knot on the Rhydon. But I have nothing for the Incineroar. I do learn Dazzling Gleam, but I'm not running it, I'm not like Ferium Z. So I go for the Flamethrower right there. as he actually bulks up, which kind of might have been a misplay because that could have given me 2 chances to critical hit him with Flamethrower, but at the same time he still has Rhydon, so it doesn't even matter, to be honest, in actuality. So yeah, I mean, he knew he had it in the bag, honestly. I mean, even if I get a burn and crit Rhydon, it'll still probably easily live and knock me out, so since I was so low. He probably just wanted to bulk up and just knock me out. So yeah, GG to JohnX. I just wish that Sneasel knocked out that Braviary. It might have probably been a roll, like, I'm pretty sure it was a roll in my favor when I calced it. And I just really thought he would fear the Icicle Crash. I mean, looking at his team, he doesn't have 2 good switches to Sneasel. Obviously, most teams don't. I mean, he has Incineroar, but that'll get whittled down with Stealth Rocks and stuff. And I was hoping to knock off its item, which would really help Delphox out a lot winning the game. But oh well. Guess next time I just need to run Bandit Sneasel, since Bandit Sneasel is the answer to everything, I guess. So next up we got versus Angel over here. Angel got a pretty interesting team. Very fast Ambipom and potential Hitmonlee. Could be Burden, or with usually normal gem and fake out I've seen. Or it could be like, I don't know, Bandit or Scarf. And then Malamar could be the Z-Mover. Klotzer, maybe Specs, or Solvez. Vikavolt, I don't know, maybe bulky Vikavolt leftovers. Could be Agility, Life Orb, and a random Quagsire on there. Which Quagsire, just on a random team, kind of scares me. Usually it's on a bulkier team, like a stall team, like Xatu and Aldino. I don't know. Good unaware mon, but he actually just leads off with the Quagsire as I lead off with my Mold Breaker Druddigon, and I mean, I'm just gonna get my rocks up. You know what we do over here, get the Stealth Rocks up first turn. As he just fires off Toxic, unfortunately misses. I mean, I do have the Lum Berry on Druddigon, so it doesn't matter too much, but I guess he would see that I have the Lum Berry and he'd probably go for another Toxic and waste another turn. So, yeah, I pretty much just get a free turn to Toxic him right there, put him on a timer. Hopefully he's not going to be like rest or something. Yep, I just eat that Lum Berry and he's like, well, okay. Now he's probably just going to Earthquake me as I Earthquake him, since that's my best hard-hitting move, and plus Druddigon did what it did, you know, needs to do pretty much of the game. Get Stealth Rocks up and Toxic Quagsire and Toxic everything. Usually I would like to run Glare though on Druddigon, but Toxic is nice in NU tier. Sometimes you'd see Glare in mostly the OU tier actually, because it's really good as Stealth Rocker with Mold Breaker and can Glare a lot of Pokemon. You can Glare ground types. As he actually brings in Vikavolt with the Levitate, and unfortunately Mold Breaker breaks that Levitate and I could Earthquake yet. But I decided to just go for a Toxic, since an off chance he could be Roost Vikavolt and he can just Roost up on my next Earthquake. But turns out he just HP ices me and crits me and knocks me out from full. Which, well, not full, I was a little bit of chip, but I mean, I'm thinking he's probably Choice Specs, so I don't think it mattered too much. Maybe it did. I probably would live HP ice from that range since Druddigon is so bulky, but it's okay. So, bring in Sneasel, go for the knockoff as a lull comes out, knock off its Choice Specs, and that is not a switching, buddy. Sneasel is just going to demolish something. Man, when they don't have a switch into Sneasel, Sneasel does so much work, it's insane. Like, when you don't got an Incineroar right there, knock off everything, Icicle Crash everything, even though I don't have that. But he does have a Fake Out Mon and crit me right there, which I don't think really mattered since he was Life Orb, but hey, I mean, maybe I lived it, even though Sneasel wasn't. I mean, I think I was a Violet, so I thought I would live. Actually, no, I was Life Orb, never mind. Sometimes I run a Violet with Swords Dance, that's why. But I'm Life Orb, so. Anyways, I go into Klinklang. Hope that he doesn't have low kick. That's why I went for the shift gear, just no chance he does have a low kick, then I can capitalize on that and, you know, outspeed him next turn. And then I could see the Quagsire coming in. I was probably thinking about going for Substitute right there, or just a Gear Grind predicting Quagsire to want to come out. But I just went for the shift gear, kind of speculating if you would want to, you know, go for a low kick or a knockoff on my Klinklang. Fortunately, that is not the case, because then that would have been extra chip on the Quagsire, and then I'd probably be more HP. Like, I'd have more HP on my Klinklang, you know, versus his team, and maybe potentially swept. Because now I'm trying to Toxic Stall this Quagsire, just going for substitutes, as Toxic is going to rack up. Even if he goes for a Recover, I would be behind a substitute, and I can get a free Gear Grind off and just chip away at him, even though Gear Grind doesn't do too much at all to an unaware Quagsire. That's why it's kind of bad that I went for a Shift Gear right there, since the +1 attack doesn't really matter versus Quagsire, since it's unaware. Usually, I mean, maybe he's not unaware, maybe he's like Water Absorbed, but I doubt it. So, just keeps going for Earthquake right there, as I'm hoping that the next Toxic will put him in range of a beautiful Gear Grind, as I'm hoping that it can. I was really... That's like my only play with Klinklang over here, so that's why I went for it, and It actually gets crit on the last one. I don't know if that mattered. It looked like it mattered, but I'm not too sure. Might have been rolls. I don't know. But nonetheless, I got a crit. So that kind of sucks for a Quagsire right there. Maybe he went for a recover right there, thinking that he would live, but I mean, it doesn't matter since Klinklang just gets knocked out by Impish the next turn, and he just takes Chip Life Orb. Because, I mean, the Quagsire is toxic, so it doesn't really matter too much. It's not like my Klinklang was going to sweep his entire team right there, as I can just bring in Delphox and revenge kill the Impish, no matter how much HP it was going to be at. It had to be, like, above, like, 70 or 80, I think, maybe to live. I don't know. Impish's pretty frail. But, anyways, in comes Malamar. I'm really scared of this thing, but I go to Medicham hard right there, as he actually fires off the Foul Play. I thought he would go for, like, I don't know, a knockoff, or maybe, I don't know, Z Happy Hour and destroy me, but yeah, I just outspeed him, I jump kick him, and knock him out, so that's perfect for me. As now in comes Vikavolt, and I'm praying this is not going to be Choice Scarf, which I'm pretty sure it's not, since I think Druddigon outsped it. So, anyways, I just Bolt Punch just an off chance. You never really know. And I'm pretty sure Bullet Punch knocks him out from that range. And the Vikavolt does have great defense. I should be able to knock it out. As his last mon is Hitmonlee, and I actually just outspeed it and knock it out, which I'm really surprised about. I'm pretty sure Adamant Hitmonlee doesn't get outsped by Medicham. I hit 284. Let me see. Hitmonlee with Adamant. I'm pretty sure that it outspeeds me. He might have been Adamant, though. Because, yeah, actually, never mind. He might have been Adamant, and I outspeed Adamant Hitmonlee. So he could have been that, maybe, you know, maybe Unburden. He could have been anything really. Citrus Berry, trying to anything to activate Unburden. Usually you would see Fake Out though, and if he did have Fake Out, he probably would have went for it right there, and activated his Unburden, and probably just swept my entire team with knockoff, high jump kick. Because I mean, maybe Samurott would go down to high jump kick. I'm not too sure if it would. I do have Ice Shard on Sneasel though, and Aqua Jet, so maybe I could pull through with that. And I do have Bullet Punch on my Medicham, so I could just keep going for all those priority moves and maybe knock out the Hitmonlee. And yeah, that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, do your thing. And I guess the comment question of the day is, what is going to be your favorite, I guess, steel type? Leave it down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, peace.